I am very pleased to be with you here tonight in these magnificent surroundings of University, which is not only the best university of Istanbul, but also a center of excellence. And I feel both delighted and honored to be speaking to you here in this special week. It is of course a privilege to address to such a distinguished audience on a topic which is dear to most of us here tonight, and that is the prospect of reconciliation and rapprochement between Turkey and Israel. I'm sure you all know I am a retired civil servant and not a politician or academic. So what I have to say this evening is essentially my own views. Ladies and gentlemen, diplomacy is not only about politics and economics. It is also about personal relationship, trust, living together, art, and also about gastronomy, food, feasting and banquets. They do serve a noble purpose. Their conviviality brings different people, both at the regional and global level, together, and help them discover what they share. That's something which is very precious, for it is followed by understanding and peace. These are things which are also encountered in university life. So I would like to begin by praising the people who have thought about such a creative project as Food for Diplomacy. The board of Kadir University, of course, its rector, Professor Mustafa Aydın, and the sponsors of the whole project, among others, the GMF and the Leipzig Trust. Tonight's gathering with Israel is the second in the series, as Professor Mustafa Aydın has just mentioned, following a similar one with Armenia about a month ago. The Jewish community of Istanbul is of course part of in the larger, glittering community of business people, intellectuals, journalists, writers, diplomats, and people from all walks of life of the city who are also present here with us tonight. You do not often get such a distinguished group of dinner guests together as we have here this evening. And this is significant. This is significant because by coming here, you all are affirming your support for the friendship between Turkey and Israel, between the Turkish and Jewish peoples, and mutual tolerance and respect for people of different cultural background and faiths who want to build peace and understanding in the world. Where Turkish-Israeli relations are concerned, we all have a lot to do. This evening's gathering is a sign that the will to do it exists. But I would be misleading you if I did not emphasize that our relations between Turkey and Israel, face a number of very serious obstacles, even if we have put the bad memories of 2010 behind. We all know what these are, so I will be brief. The central difficulty is the current policy of Israel's present government, where this process is concerned. It seems to many people, not just in Turkey but across the rest of the world, that the government of Israel does not genuinely want peace process with the Palestinians to move forward, and that many of its policies are roadblocks. We are particularly concerned by the treatment of the Palestinian people and the steady growth of Israeli settlements on the West Bank. We believe, along with the United States and all other countries in the Western world, that the only lasting solution to the Palestinian problem is a two-state solution. But if the settlement continues, the point will be reached when a two-state solution becomes impossible. I fear Israel may be moving deliberately towards the point of no return. This will be a tragedy for us all. Then there's the issues of first Gaza, and then also Jerusalem. To us, and also to many others, it seems as if again there is the determination to move away from the direction in which progress is possible and towards ever greater confrontation. I know that people of Israel live in conditions of great insecurity and strategic risks. Weapons are directed towards them. Lives are lost tragically. But the way out of that situation cannot be ever greater confrontation, but detente and confidence building. The recent events at the Al-Aqsa Mosque received great publicity in Turkey and the world, and created a sense of shock among ordinary people. Was this degree of violence and intrusion necessary? Was it defensible? Attack on the Jerusalem synagogue was a heinous and evil attack, which all sensible people will condemn utterly. Attacks on people engaged in worship in a house of religion are especially despicable. I mourn for the innocent victims of violence, just as we mourned in 2003 when our citizens were murdered at the Nevi Shalom synagogue. But the best way to honor their memory and prevent future suffering is to try and take that hard road that leads to peace and reconciliation and not more violence. When the Middle East is embroiled in such desperate conflicts and spiraling political decay and even collapse, we who live in this region surely all have a common interest in working for stability and coexistence. Israel is strong today, but can it, should it live encircled by burning lands and tormented people? I know that most of us here this evening share, or largely share, common thinking on these points and are like me, dismayed by the course of events. It is the duty of all of us to do everything we can to create a consensus on them in Turkey and Israel. This dinner is both an opportunity to celebrate and enjoy ourselves, but also to reflect on these graver matters. Our first step surely should be to try and progress to the point where normal diplomatic relations can be resumed between our two countries, because there is a grievous cost, the delay.